Dan Le Batard, host of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz, co-founder of Meadowlark Media, joining us on the program. Good morning, Dan. How are you?
Is it, Dan? You only call me when this unending river of diarrhea that is the Miami Dolphins does something nationally to embarrass our region and stain everything that used to be Dolphins football. Is it really? You call to laugh at me.
No, with you.
No, I am trying to ascertain with the strongest parts of my soul whether or not you have any use for this relationship, except when an offensive line coach does cocaine or an offensive lineman bullies somebody else. Like the only times you call me, I saw you yesterday. I was insane with jealousy. You're talking to Pat McAfee about the origins of his career, but me, no. It's only when the Dolphins do something stupid. It's infuriating. It's hurtful. I was excited. Like we played yesterday. We had a 65-yard pass in training camp that represented the best thing that's happened here in 20 years. And we got so excited that we were playing T-Pain's terrible Dolphins song yesterday. Listen to this.
Hey, hey, let's go! Miami and the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air, we're always in control.
Wow.
There's music in my heart, and then Stephen Ross comes and poops on it, and then I'm like, and then I'm avoiding when I see your call come up on the. I'm like, really? They're calling me again? It's the only time they're interested in me.
Oh, that song can really inspire you to maybe tamper or tank. Which one do you want to talk about, Dan, with your Dolphins?
The incompetence is laughably amusing at this point, is it not? That you would. This is the greatest winner we've known, and they lose the draft picks that it would have cost to actually get him. So they only fail to get him, and in so doing, the media gets everything wrong on the front end of this, Dan. If you remember how some of this broke, Adam Schefter and Darlington were out there for a weekend with the report that Brady was retiring when he publicly sent out the statement that wasn't meant as a retirement. It was meant as goodbye to Tampa, and Boston gets mad because they're like, why weren't we mentioned? Well, you weren't mentioned because it wasn't meant as a retirement. Like, he was coming to be the quarterback for the Dolphins, or to try to be through the executive route, trying to do LeBron stuff because he's figured out with the player empowerment that he's worth $375 million as a side job that nobody knows he's any good at because he can do anything he wants. And this was such a gangster move that was almost executed, and the Dolphins just screwed all of it up. And it didn't happen only because of the unprecedented lawsuit that involves racism that cost them their coach.
Okay, but can you at least respect the Dolphins that they're trying to win? So they tampered. They tried to get Sean Payton, tried to get Brady. They tried to tank so they could get Joe Burrow. So they're at least trying.
I love that take, and we mocked Chris Cody for that take yesterday because how irresponsible it is. You're out here actively advocating for do everything you can to win, including cheating. Just do it well and don't get caught.
Yes.
I can't believe that's where your career is now taking you, Patrick, where do the immoral thing to win. Why wouldn't you? But I'm in total agreement with you. The only part of this that's objectionable is that he failed.
Yes.
Not that they failed to successfully cheat well as opposed to cheating poorly.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Would you rather have Joe Burrow or Tom Brady?
Well, come on. I'd rather have Joe Burrow because, no, you're right. I'd rather have Brady because he's going to last longer than Burrow. He's going to play in.
Now, that's a hot take right there. That's a hot take.
It's not a hot take. It's just the most obvious thing. Brady is still going to bring a winning Super Bowl, actively dragging a dialysis machine next to him with the nurses from hospice running after him.
How confident are you in Tua this year?
I believe in the Dolphins this year for the first time in 25
No,
years.
Tua.
Well, but they're masking it. You say no, Tua, but Garoppolo got within a throw of being a champion, and they were disguising it. Like Tua, they've put all the pieces around him so that all he's got to do is be accurate and not have a historically bad offensive line. Everything, like this has been pushed to the front, to the middle of the table. Everything, all or nothing, has been fast-forwarded on the young quarterbacks because everyone's realized that you have to have value at that position in order to game the system. And for the moment, they have value at that position. He's cheap. Can you put all the things around him? They've got an offensive line. When I tell you historically bad, Dan, I think it's impossible to evaluate what Tua is, given that he had less time, according to Pro Football Focus, than any quarterback has ever had. More pass rushing, more pass blocking failures than we've ever seen since they've been tracking it. I love that they're entering this season with a fantasy player that is being described as a chaos player, because everyone listening to this has an opinion, but nobody listening to this has any earthly idea what's going to happen with this quarterback.
He's Dan Le Batard, host of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gatz. You and Stu Gatz okay? I mean, felt like there was a little friction. You had reached out to me wanting to know if maybe my show versus your show, Family Feud. And then it felt like you were having a family feud within your family with you and Stu Gatz.
Yes, we're okay. I've been married to somebody for nearly 20 years who's despicable, and I understand what's in my bed.
Wow.
What? What do you mean, wow? It's the whole formula. What do you mean? We were Mike and Mike, odd couple. Like, what do you mean, wow? Like, it's you. Wait a minute. What do you mean, wow? You were at my wedding, and Stu Gatz tried to run off with you.
He did.
Like,
he did.
What do you mean, wow? People think that's fake. That's not fake. That's real.
He did take me home. He dropped me off, I should say.
Hubba.
He dropped me off. Okay, you love your wife or Stu Gatz more?
What are you talking about?
Who's more important for your career? Your wife or Stu Gatz?
I love my wife a million times more than Stu Gatz. I barely love Stu Gatz, but I do love him.
Who's more important for your career?
Who is more important for my career? My wife is the reason that I'm doing all of the things I'm presently doing that I could not do with Stu Gatz.
Okay.
Like the reasons I've made some of the choices that I've made to protect us.
All right. So you want to do this Family Feud one day where it's my show versus your show?
I'd like to do it on Family Feud if they ever did a celebrity Family Feud, or I'd like for you, because you've got game show connections, right? Everybody listening to this knows the story of how it is that you turn down The Price is Right. Does everyone know the story?
Yes, I believe so.
For those listening right now, just quickly, you didn't know that you had accepted the job to replace, you were going to be Drew Carey, or you were being asked without knowing the salary, will you take this job? It's being offered to you, and your response was, but I need to know the salary, correct?
I was told that the job was mine. And then they were going to set up a Price is Right set in San Antonio. I was covering the NBA Finals. They said, we just want to see how you look on camera. But Bob Barker had signed off on this. And then I said, well, what do I get paid? And they said, if you accept the job, we'll tell you how much you get paid. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do this.
And what did the job pay?
$10 million.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
Not total, a year, correct?
Yeah. All of a sudden, it's like, and Drew Carey is the host of Price is Right, and he's making $10 million a year. My wife goes, did you know that? And I go, no, I didn't. I did not know that. I could never have left these guys, though. I could never have left these people. I made the right decision.
No, you did not.
Maybe not, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it could be worse. I could be there with Stu Gatz. I mean,
you can't do both though. It was an either or choice. You had the Barkley Live Golf.
Yes,
it was an either or.
Yes.
Don't you have other game show experience though? You've hosted, like, you could get us in the game show world somewhere to be able to have a competition against your show. Could you not?
Okay, Paulie. Would you get a hold of the producer? We know the producer.
Celebrity Family Feud?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know of him.
Yeah. Why don't you reach out and see? I think they had the Joe Buck family on there. So, I mean, I got to believe we're bigger celebrities than the Joe Buck family.
You are. So we could, if not there, we'll do it somewhere else. We should figure out how to do this. But I'd like to ask your group of we're in the middle of doing our show, and we're just coming out of a segment.
Okay.
So I'd like to ask your guys, all of them there, and you, because we were just discussing this hypothetically, and it's Miami, of course. If any of them happened upon a brick of cocaine, what do they do? Like on the beach, you're walking on the beach, and there is a brick of cocaine, what is the answer? Not having given it much thought, hypothetically, what do you do?
Okay, so if this happened to me again when I was in Miami, so the first time, my answer is different than
a brick of cocaine in the car.
Yeah, my answer is different this time around than the first time that it happened to me in Miami. Let's go around the horn here. Seton, I'm going to start with you. So, if for no other reason, and you look like you're ready with an answer.
I would alert the proper authorities of said brick of cocaine, of course.
Okay, Marv?
I'm going to sell that thing.
Okay.
My guys weren't brave enough. My guys were not brave enough to just say it like that.
Okay. Fritzy, what would you do if you found a brick of cocaine?
I would contact the local police and
course
find
you
out how
would.
to get it to the
Of
proper
course you would. Of course. Paulie?
I can't imagine there's gonna be a reward posted for this because of. But if there was, that'd be great. No, I think I'd turn into the authorities. I'd like to think that I would pull a Marvin and put it out there. What's in the movie True Romance? He finds the drugs. He tries to sell it.
Can I change my answer to I'd sell half of it?
What, Fritzy?
What if you were to sell it and somehow all of a sudden on the news there was a contaminated weed or whatever and people got sick or died because there was something?
It's cocaine, not weed. And why are you a buzzkill?
But if it's just sitting there, a brick of
Contaminated.
someone could get sick from it, and you
Well,
sold it without knowing where it came from.
No, it's just a simple.
I want to ask some follow-ups. Can I?
Okay, all right.
Marv, next steps, please. Take me, when you say sell it, take me through the particulars of the next steps. You've immediately found it. Now we're driving home with it in the car. I want all the details.
That's a fair question of how do you sell said brick of cocaine, Seton?
Well, the first thing you'd have to do some quality control.
You got to
make
tell
sure. And then probably about a month and a half later, it'd be broke.
Okay. So you might not sell as much as you planned
It'd
on.
be good intentions to sell it. And then...
Yeah. Marv, what would you do selling the brick of cocaine?
I'd go around, see who's who and what's what, and make sure it doesn't. I'm not
What does
selling
that
it to.
mean?
I got you, Marvin.
No.
I got
See,
you.
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know who's who,
Who's who
and what's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna go into detail, but
You gotta go into details. What am I?
No.
You basically you're trying to find out if you're not selling it to an undercover
Batard,
cop.
my guys are street. We know what's going on here. We're straight out of Connecticut here. You got any other questions here for my posse?
I do have a question actually for you here. Because
Okay.
Chris Whittingham is a lifelong Dolphin fan, and I want for him to just read to you in a second the list of quarterbacks they've had out here, because it's been an irrelevant regional team.
We don't
for
have that much time to do all of the quarterbacks, do we?
I want to ask you off the top of your head, and I don't think it's a hole in anyone's knowledge to not know the answer to this question. Can you tell me when the last time was you paid attention to the Dolphins doing anything on the field because you thought they were good? Like, just off the top of your head, when's the last time any of you guys who work in sports remember the Dolphins being good or carrying with them?
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick made them interesting for a month. That's the last time that there was a curiosity there of could he win a game or lose a game.
Ryan Fitzpatrick should go into the Hall of Fame with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just because they feasted on him in every team in that division. That is not that Ryan Fitzpatrick being the choice for the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. That represents the best of what you've remembered.
No. I'm just saying recently, Ryan Tannehill, he wasn't entertaining, but he was serviceable.
Okay,
The Jay Cutler year, they were interesting.
Okay, give him the list, Whittingham.
Chad Pennington, interesting.
Yeah, Jay Fiedler and Ray Lucas and Joey Harrington.
Yeah.
And Josh McCown.
Gus
and
Farad.
Big Pen, yeah, Gus Farad. Cleo Lemon, John Beck, Ryan Tannehill, Chad Henne.
AJ Feely.
AJ Feely. It's just been a morass of awful.
See, the
You
problem,
only call me.
but the problem is you guys win 6 or 7 games. Like, you got to be worse. That's like, your owner is right. We screw it up and win 6 or 7 games. We got to be worse than that. That's been your problem. You haven't been bad enough to get good.
They were 1-15 one year with Cleo Lemon and John Beck. And they could have been worse that season if not for Greg Camarillo.
But didn't you take an
Ryan
offensive
Hornsby.
lineman? Didn't you take Jake Long after a 1-15 season?
Oh my God, Dan! They have taken
You passed on Matt Ryan that year, I believe.
They have taken so many offensive linemen. They have spent so much money on offensive line. They have swallowed Nick Saban and Bill Parcells spending money on offensive line. And they, again, I will say this again, Dan, the worst pass blocking in the history of records on these things last year.
I'm glad we could talk.
Are you?
I am. I always feel better about my life when I talk to you.
Don't forget to curse, Billy Gill says to me in my headset, not helpfully. It was nice Ray-tangoing with you, sir.
Yeah. Let's do it again, and maybe we do a family feud, my family versus your family.
I want to do that.
And the winner gets a brick of cocaine.
and Marv ends up in prison.
And Marvin's going to do time, but he's going to sell, and then we'll make some money, and then he'll be doing some time. Thank you, Dan.
It's always nice seeing you, buddy.
That's Dan Le Batard, host of the Dan Le Batard, with his former good friend, Stu Gatz. We'll take a break. We're back after this.